We're live.
There we go. We are live, buddy. How's it going? How's everything going?
I'm good. I don't know if is it loading? Is it live?
It says live on my screen, so it must be live on yours, my friend.
Is it live or is it Memorex, as they used to say?
Memorex. Listen to you.
Many of the people watching this have no idea what that is.
No, you just lost. You lost all of our one viewer.
Yeah.
So what is going on? How's your week been, man?
Oh, I've been good, man. How about you?
Hey, you know what? I am not too bad. Once I figure out how to use YouTube again, we will get going there.
Well,
Jeez.
I'm going to share the link right now. And if you would like to share that link, that'll work too.
Well, I shared it to my own personal one, so we'll see what happens there.
Oh, I kind of expect you to just share what I share in the group.
All right, fine. I'll share that one too, then, man.
Well, no, it's not. It doesn't matter. It's not an ego. It's not an ego thing.
It is an ego thing because look at you. You just put a photo up and it's just you. The thumbnail is just you.
It's not a photo.
The thumbnail is you.
Yeah, well, that's because we've got this new active speaker thing, so only one of us.
That's not even fair. That's not even fair. Because now it's why? Because it's your
I don't
face.
decide what the thumbnail is. It just happened to pick me when we clicked on it, or when the algorithm decided what picture to go on.
That's it, Adam.
That's it.
That's it. So, man, what is new since last time we talked? Last Sunday. What's going on?
Not much, man. How about you?
Oh, just busy at work, man. We're just going into different zones and COVID and stuff, and it seems like it's spreading like wildfire. It's getting ridiculous out there.
Yeah, you're not kidding. We've got like 14 cases up here or something.
What color are you guys? Yellow, blue, green?
I think we're still green, but
Are you green?
We're the worst that we've ever been, so.
People traveling, man. People traveling.
Actually, you know what it is? There's an outbreak at Nipissing or Canada or whatever. So.
Yeah, we got one at our college too, at Loyalist.
Yeah. So shit's getting pretty scary. Let's get those fucking vaccines out.
Dude, Trudeau was coming out this week, and he said that we might not get a full rollout until September.
Yeah. Until September. Wow.
September. He came out on Wednesday and said possibly September.
I was sort of expecting like March might be when this is sort of all done.
Because we backpedaled when it first came out. He figured, no, it's Canada, we're going to get it. We backpedal. So the rest of the world is going to get it before we will.
We actually had ordered more vaccines than we need.
Well, you'd always want to because you're going to need to use them.
But I heard that was like the like a criticism that a lot of the international community had on Canada is that Canada had ordered more vaccines than people. So, and then I think they had said they're going to donate some to other countries that needed.
Well, yeah, because we're going to go on humanitarian aids, right? Like we're going to go to Africa's and hopefully North Korea. I hope somebody gives those guys stuff. Like I understand they're in a dictatorship, but I mean,
they got the cure.
Yeah, exactly. You got COVID, bang goes.
Yeah.
That's it. No COVID here. No COVID
outbreaks, and anyone that does get it doesn't survive.
No, 100% death rate right there, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah. So anything new with you, man?
Nothing, man. Just going into yellow tonight. So we're just busy working this week. That's all I'm doing. Just getting ready for it. What happened here? Bought a couch. I bought a couch for Black Friday. Bought it yesterday and Saturday. Went to buy a television and they didn't have any I wanted, so I have to go off. I was looking for a 75-inch and nobody.
Hey, I was looking for a 75-inch as well.
Yep. No, which one were you going with? The one from Best Buy? Our Best Buy had one on sale for like I think it was $1,000. They sold out real quick, so I might just wait a month and then just go and spend the extra money I saved up on the best one I can find.
I was gonna buy one from the Walmart, but the Walmart burnt down.
Why are you going to Walmart for TVs?
Because I don't care. I don't need like a nice TV. I just need something cheap and that works. I don't need like a 5K or whatever bullshit. Whatever.
4K, yes, you do.
Whatever. I don't need that shit.
You do.
You know what I would like? I would like a 3D TV, and you can't buy those anymore.
What are you gonna buy a 3D TV for? So porn comes right at you. Yeah, you want porn. Yeah, porn to come right at you.
Whatever, I don't care. I watch porn in 3D. I have no objection to that, but I do want
glasses
3D
get in the way.
movies.
3D movies are nothing.
What do you mean the glasses get in the way? What do the glasses get? Your dick gets between your eye and your glasses? What are you talking about? The glasses get in the way?
The glasses get in the way. They're falling off. They're all sideways. No, man. You're good.
I don't really understand, but all right, man, if you say so. All right, man, you want to get into the news?
You want to get into the news or something we didn't? I wanted to cover. I wanted to cover that.
Let's get right into the news. You have no idea who that is, eh?
No. What, Kent Brockman?
No, it's Keemstar.
Sure, man. Let's get right into the news.
I don't know who he's doing an impression of. I don't think he even knows who he's doing an impression of.
All right, where do you want to start, man? You pick. Oh, let's go Tyson right off the hop.
Let's go Tyson. You didn't see the fight though, eh?
I see highlights of it. Exactly what I expected it to be. Two old men fucking fighting.
Good. It was good. It was surprisingly good. Like Tyson did really, really good, actually. I was surprised. Everybody said that they're not allowed to go for a knockout. It sure looked like they were trying, I'll tell you that much.
Well, I don't know, because now they were saying there was fake news out there, right? They were saying they can't go for knockouts, and then all of a sudden it came out. And I was like, well, if that's the case, I'm not even going to call and order it on pay-per-view. Because I believe in, like, with those guys, I probably would have bought it on pay-per-view. Well, once I read that, I'm like, no, I'm done. And then by the time they said it was fake news and they can go for knockouts and you're going to get a winner and all this, I'm like, all right, I guess I'm too late then.
Was there something going head-to-head with them, like another boxing match or something?
UFC.
Oh, okay. So I think that could have been like a smoke screen to try to dissuade people from buying the Tyson fight and go to the other one then maybe.
Yeah. And then the UFC, I think it was Lewis and somebody else that got canceled because of COVID. They ended up one of them tested positive.
Oh, I didn't even know UFC was on the same night. Yeah, I didn't watch that. I watched Tyson. It was like I said, surprisingly good. I'm going to say that I was a little bit surprised by the post-fight interview was the most interesting and surprising part, because firstly, they come up and they go, we tabulated everything, and they go, it's funny because Mauro Ranallo or whatever the guy is, he goes, I'm not even really sure if we're going to have a winner. Because he doesn't know. He's like, rumors are they're not allowed to go for knockouts, and they're not allowed. We're not going to have a winner, but let's see if they announce a winner. If they do announce, and then he goes, if they do announce a winner, it's clearly going to be Mike Tyson. And they go, here we are, ready to announce a winner, and it's a draw. And even Mauro Ranallo said a second ago, because I don't know why they don't tell their commentators what's going on. Speaking as someone who's done commentary, it's really shitty when they don't tell you what's going on, but I sympathize with him. I don't know what's going on, but if they're going to decide a winner, it's going to be Mike Tyson.
Yeah, well, that's what I would have did. I would have just gave it to Mike.
Well, it was. He clearly was winning, and then they go, it's a draw. And I asked Mike, what do you think about that? Are you okay with it being a draw? And he's like, I guess I'm okay with it being a draw. It was a good, hard fought fight. And everybody's like, the old Mike Tyson would have been like, I did that and I'll murder your children for saying it was a draw.
I'll rip your spine out. I'll fucking kill you. That's what I'm going to do. Exactly. Yeah, that's the old Mike Tyson. Listen.
Exactly. So then Roy Jones Jr., they ask him, and they go, are you okay with it being a draw? And of course, he's grabbing his ribs and whatever. And he's going, yeah, he really got me in the guts. The body blows were really what got me. And then Mike Tyson interrupts and he goes, listen, man, you came back from it. That's all that matters. Mike Tyson's giving him like an inspiration. It doesn't matter that you got hit hard. You came back from it. That's what matters.
It's all that weed smoke. That's all it is, man. It's all that weed that Tyson's got going.
This is Mike Tyson going, it's okay that you got hit hard. What matters is that you tried.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, man, way to come out like it's a draw. We're all good. Listen, what I'm afraid of is like, when are they going to stop fighting? Mm-hmm. Like Mike Tyson's what, 52?
They're in their 50s. I know that.
That's ridiculous, man. That's like watching. I don't even know. It's just horrible boxing. Nobody wants to watch that. Like people watched it, but I didn't want to watch it. I'm like, these are two old men. It's Mike Tyson. I understand. I like Mike Tyson. I really do. Roy Jones, I didn't like him. I never have.
I never really watched. I watched a lot of boxing when Mike Tyson was boxing. I didn't watch a whole lot of Roy Jones Jr. I'm not a huge boxing fan. I grew up watching the Tyson fight, so I was excited to sort of see this. I was excited to see a knockout, really, was what I was looking forward to.
I figured Mike would have still had the power. Like, he's got size. Like, I would have figured he just would have came up and just smacked him and then knocked him out.
I'll be honest, man. It looked like he still had the fucking power. Like, it was surprising.
Another thing too, you got to be careful is I wouldn't want to be like a 20 or 30-year-old. I'll go Mike Tyson, 5-round exhibition match and get knocked out by him because your career's over right there.
Well, that's the other thing I was thinking is, when we all watched that Sylvester Stallone Rocky movie where he's like 50 years old and they somehow sanction him to get back into the ring and fight, and everybody's going, that would never happen. Well, it just happened with Mike Tyson.
That's crazy. But I just want you to think, like, what was his payday on that? Does anybody, do you know?
I think I know that the story is that he started doing a little bit of cardio and then he started getting in shape.
No, how much did he get paid? Like, what was his payday?
I know. And then once he started getting in shape, they said, would you take a couple million? Would you do another fight? And he goes, no. And they go, well, what if we gave you like 3 million or five, like a big, so it was a pretty big payday. And all of a sudden he goes, yeah, I'll do it for that much money. So it sounds like it was a pretty good payday.
Wow. Okay. Good for him, I guess. Him and Roy Jones. I mean, hey, if you're 52 and you want to get it into you, I guess you can, right? Like, but at what point, like, I don't want to see Conor No Balls McGregor go against, Mayweather when they're both in their 60s.
They called out Conor. Who was it?
Well, yes, it was. And we're going to get to that momentarily.
Yeah.
But let's segue right into it. The Tyson fight I thought was good, like from the highlights I seen. Good for them. I think I was just hoping for a knockout. I really was hoping that Tyson, with the size of the gloves too, right? You shrink those gloves down, those body shots that he was taking, that Tyson was giving, that probably would have knocked him out and killed him if he would have had leather gloves on. Mm-hmm. Now,
Jake Paul and Nathan Robinson.
Okay, you say Nathan, it's Nate. He's a basketball player.
Oh, he's a basketball player? Oh, okay.
Yes.
Does he know Snoop Dogg?
Yes.
How does he know him?
He's a basketball player. He's a really good basketball player, actually.
But like, what, does Snoop Dogg play basketball now? Like, what?
No,
how do they know each other?
They're all stars. Like, they all basketball. Like, it's an all inner circle, man. It's like Drake and Snoop Dogg and all these guys, and they all hang out. They all have their teams, and they all kind of hang out around the teams and hang out and listen to tunes and stuff. And it's
cool.
That's what they kind of do.
Smoke weed every day.
That's it.
So Snoop Dogg is acting like he's like this guy's best friend because he's on commentary, and he's singing during commentary, which was really weird.
Well, when you smoke as much weed as Snoop Dogg, you'll probably be singing too during goddamn commentary.
Yeah. So that was a really good fight. Jake Paul honestly outskilled him. Surprisingly, Jake Paul was the guy that had the most skills in the match. It actually.
I would hope so. Jake Paul's been boxing for at least 5 years.
It's been 5 years. I know that he did that.
Match
with KSI and whatever, but that was sort of like a sideshow, freak show kind of match.
Dude, that one was
taking it seriously since though.
He was taking it beforehand too. He was taking it seriously so he didn't look like an idiot. But to me, like, dude, then he knocks out a basketball player who's only been training for like 6 months, and he's all proud about it. Oh, he knocked him out. Dude, that punch was like some type of backyard school over the hand bullshit, like street fight. Like, I'm like, what do you think? You watch too many Rocky movies.
I thought it was a pretty good punch. To be honest, it was the sort of thing that you almost didn't see. It was this altercation, and then boom, buddy goes down, and he's out like a light. And he almost knocked him out once or twice before that. So it was a knockout, I think.
Logan Paul, right? Is it Logan Paul?
I believe it's Jake Paul.
Jake Paul. Okay, Jake Paul. I'm writing his name down so I stop screwing it up because Logan Paul's the idiot, right?
I think they're both idiots from YouTube. They're both YouTubers, but
okay.
Logan Paul is the one that's, I believe he did a controversial video where he went into
the Forest of the Dead
forest and found a dead body and filmed
Japan.
it and
then put it on YouTube. Yep.
Christ, yeah. What a piece of shit of a human being, but
absolutely.
Yeah, but
anyways,
these guys are not great people. The fight was a good fight, though. I'll give them that. And he did a good job. He knocked this Nate Robinson guy out, and then he called out Conor McGregor.
What a moron, Adam! I'm going to tell you this right now. You do not fight one of the baddest men on the planet. He'd be better off. He would have been better off to say, "I'll take the winner of the Tyson fight." He'd have been better off to say, "I'll take the winner of that one," than McGregor. Dude, McGregor has a chin. He's never seen anybody with a chin.
Yeah.
McGregor's also a trained fighter.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I still say, and I don't care what anybody says, I still say that McGregor pulled punches on Mayweather.
You think McGregor pulled punches on Mayweather?
Absolutely.
You think McGregor pulled punches on Mayweather?
But McGregor did not go 100% in that boxing.
I think that Mayweather pulled punches on
No way. There were times, no, there's no way.
You think that? What do you mean? I think that Floyd was holding back. I think Floyd could have schooled him at any point.
No, Floyd can't. Floyd hasn't been able to. Floyd lost his punching power 5 years. Well, that fight was 3 years ago? Floyd lost his punching power like 7 or 8 years ago. There's no way. I've watched a lot of his fights. There's no way.
I don't know about that. I think Floyd was toying with him, waiting for him to waiting to make a good show, give him the benefit of the doubt, and then I think if anyone was pulling back on that, it was Floyd. I can't believe that you were saying McGregor was pulling back. What do you believe?
Go watch that fight.
How do you believe? Like, what do you?
He had him on the ropes. If you go back and watch the McGregor fight that was 8 rounds, right? If I'm not mistaken.
I think it went about 8, something like that. Yeah,
8 rounds. You go back to about the 5th round, I think it is. He's got him, and he's not punching full. So either that tells me either he's not wasn't pulling his punches, or wasn't educated enough in striking with boxing gloves on. That's it.
Maybe. I don't know about that. I don't.
Yeah, and Connor's got a chin. Like, that's what people need to understand. Like, Connor's not a little. Like, I don't like Connor. I really don't like Conor McGregor. I like when Connor loses. I think it's great. I think it's great for everybody when Connor loses. But yeah, no, we're not. Connor's an idiot, and I hope he does fight him, and hope Connor does lose. But I think Jake Paul is going to get his face beat in.
I've been neglecting the comments. Truck Pool sides with me once again, saying Mayweather was holding back for sure. Sure. I agree. Mayweather was holding back.
Go watch that fight again. When you guys go watch that fight again, then we can talk. Trap Pool. Oh yeah, because he's a Gold Glove winner from 1874.
Dude, I think you're the one that's off base here. You actually think that the greatest boxer, one of the greatest boxers of all time, could have been the other guy had to hold back against him who's been in his first fight? Come on.
I honestly think there was times that McGregor pulled punches. I'm telling you right now.
If anything, I think it was Mayweather was holding back.
Mayweather doesn't have punching power anymore. You guys are drunk. Go home.
Mayweather doesn't have punching power? Bullshit.
No. Dude,
I know that
he's not have punching power.
I understand that he's been a defensive boxer. He has knocked guys out, but he's developed a style that's more defensive, sort of rope-a-dope, wait for the guy to wear himself out, which is what he did. But I believe he could still punch him, like knock him out. I think I don't believe that at all. Even at the end of that fight, he started to like rough him up. He could have knocked him out then.
Well, I don't think he can. I don't think he's got punching power anymore. And that's not coming from me. I don't watch enough boxing to be able to tell you who's got punching power. I just got to go by my buddies who are boxers and who watch boxing. That's the only thing I can go by.
Well, I think he has. I think he could. I think by the end of that fight, he was starting to knock him out. I mean, he didn't knock him out, but I think he could have.
I don't know, man. That's neither here nor there, man. I honestly, that's what I think. I think that if Jake Paul's going to do it, I think that Jake Paul needs to realize that he's an idiot. Oh, yeah.
I agree. Jake Paul's in a lot of trouble. It is a different sport, so that's the one thing that he has going for him is that he may be trained as more of an efficient boxer, better, knows that sort of with the blinders on type fighting style for boxing as opposed to MMA. But, I mean, even if they put in – but even in that situation, I still think that McGregor is would end up beating the shit out of him, to be honest.
And Jake Paul is not that big enough a draw to do anything anyways. I just think McGregor might just go, yeah, okay, MMA ring then, let's do it.
Well, I mean, even if they allow kicks in, that's a completely different dynamic. You know?
That's kickboxing. That's different.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is
McGregor kills him.
Yeah, well, you're saying MMA, full MMA. I'm just saying even if they went from boxing to kickboxing, one progression forward, I still say McGregor blows him out of the water. Even a boxing fight, I think McGregor still would probably beat him.
So do I. I absolutely do.
And just because he's that much of an athlete, I think that, Jake Paul is an athlete, but he's not. It's not like Mayweather, who is an extreme, not extreme, but an elite athlete in that field up against someone who is an elite athlete in another one. This is an elite athlete against sort of an up and coming athlete. I got to give it to McGregor.
Absolutely, 100%. You and I are in the same boat. Because cool. he's got a chin. As I said, McGregor's got a chin. He's never fought anybody with a chin before.
Yeah, I think we're on the same page. So we might as well move on to the next thing.
All right, Adam.
So YouTube is decided. Here's the thing. Let me start out by saying that I once had a monetized YouTube channel. This channel was once monetized. I was making money off of this. Every time I made off of it, I put back into the channel. And then one day they decided that you have to have 1,000 subscribers, which I believe I had at the time. And you have to have 4,000 hours of viewing time on YouTube, which was an unachievable goal. I have not met it. We still have not met it since we've been doing this. It's a very high bar to achieve, and they took monetization away. Well, they've reinstated monetization only just for them. YouTube will now be running ads on every YouTube channel, and they will be taking the profit for themselves.
So we got to be careful what we say. So I'm sure nobody from YouTube will see this video. Hey, they could. Who never knows?
We don't got to be careful what we say. We can say whatever the fuck. What are they going to do? Take monetization away from us?
Oh, it's absolutely true. What are you going to do, bitches? No, the question becomes to me is that, like, who's going to sue them?
Who's going to sue them?
Who's going to sue YouTube first?
Okay. Do you think there's grounds to sue?
Absolutely. I understand that YouTube kind of owns some of the content. Like we produce the content. Mm-hmm. They view the like they show the content, right? Mm-hmm. Like to me, if you're putting up videos on YouTube and people are watching them, I would think you should make it easier to monetize. I really honestly do. You know what I mean? Like the 4,000 hours of viewing stuff. Are you kidding me? Do you know how hard that's going to be, man?
A very lot. Yeah, trust me. It's a lot of hours.
It's to produce all that. We could do a show for over a year, and I don't think we'd ever hit 4,000 hours, would we?
Well, that's the thing is you have to have 4,000 within a year. We've been doing, how long have we been doing this for?
Oh shit. 3 months, 4 months?
3 months. Okay. Would you say 3 or 4 months? I was going to say more like 6.
Oh, even 6. Yeah, man, for sure.
Well, we're at about a quarter of the way there. So if it's 6 months and we're only at a quarter within, that means we're just
we'd have to do 2 shows a week.
Yeah.
With content. Yeah. And dude, I'd be a raging alcoholic. It's already I'm already an alcoholic. I don't want to be raging. No, man, but like YouTube.
So you were saying something about you think that people have the right to sue them. I'd like to hear more about that.
Well, because if I'm watching, like, if somebody's watching our video, why should they, unless we're getting money, why the hell would they need to see an ad for Ford truck or something like that? Well, why wouldn't that come to us? So they're coming to watch our video or whatever have you. Why wouldn't that money come to us anyways? Why? Because YouTube just wants to make more money. Mm-hmm. That's what they want to do, and they don't want to pay anybody else money.
It's interesting.
So is there another place you could stream videos besides YouTube that has kind of the same following?
There are other places that you can stream videos, but nothing is as big as YouTube. And I believe that there are some other ones that offer monetization, but their monetization is never quite rivaled to YouTube.
Okay.
And but the one thing that they say, and the reason I say you can't sue them over this is they're letting us upload our content to their platform free of charge. So in that respect, I kind of understand that. I guess they have the right to run ads on it, and I guess it's kind of a shitty thing.
But still, so like, okay, we upload a video.
Yeah.
Then my mom or your mom or my sister, your brother, they go on to YouTube and they click the video and they watch the video.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they want to see us. Where sometimes they probably wouldn't go on YouTube. Like for the average YouTube user, like I watch a lot of YouTube because I follow a lot of guys I like. You got YouTube. Everybody I know uses YouTube for the most part. Like it's just because the algorithm's good, so you get to watch stuff that you wouldn't like normally watch.
Okay.
But now they're going. Well, no, because we're uploading it. I go, yeah, but still, people are making content for me to go to YouTube. If like 5 of the guys I followed quit YouTube, I wouldn't be on YouTube.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
Even though they're allowing us for free to upload everything, people are paying. We're on YouTube to see other people. So other people are drawing us to their channel, like to their app or whatever, their website. So if the guys I follow, like if Joe Rogan and a couple of hockey guys I followed were just like, we're done with YouTube, I probably would never go on YouTube.
Okay, I think I get what you're saying. You're saying that they should reward the people who make content in order to keep them there.
Correct. Because like, so what happens if Joe Rogan says, well, I'm done with YouTube?
Well, Joe Rogan has said that. He's going to Spotify.
No, he is on Spotify, but like you can still see all his stuff on YouTube, right?
But he's going to pull all his stuff eventually, is what he's been saying at least, is he's going to pull all his stuff and put it on Spotify exclusively. I'm not sure when, but there is a time that he is going to do that.
So then that's right there. You're going to see a massive decline in YouTube.
I think you will see a massive decline in YouTube.
And then what's going to happen is with Rogan going over, there's going to be spots for guys like you and I that are on Spotify. Hey, you know what? Right. You can get a Spotify account. You can do this. You can make your own podcast. We want you guys to do this stuff. Come on over and we'll monetize you.
Trackerhead has an interesting point. He says some people purposely demonetize their videos so Google doesn't get any revenue off of their work. That's an interesting point too. What if people don't want Google to make money off of their work? They just like to make it.
Well, that's great if that's kind of your hobby, right? Like I'm sure there's hobbies out there that people do, and I think it's a great thing. And if that's the case, I mean, why not?
What do you think about people who don't like money being made off of their work? They like doing it for free. They like sort of doing it as a hobby, and the idea of somebody making money off of it. Now they no longer have the right to do it as a volunteer sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, hey man, that works too. If you want to unmonetize or demonetize your own stuff, but I mean, that's all you.
But they no longer have that option because Google will be making money off of their work now, whether they like it or not.
Oh yeah, huh?
Yeah,
that's crazy. I never even thought of that. So you just want to be an artist. You're like, hey, I'm just gonna do this, that, and the other thing, and then all of a sudden it's good.
I actually have a lot of friends, like Tractorhead is mentioning, that make YouTube, and they take a lot of pride that nobody's making money off of it. Then now they're going to have ads run on their content without their consent. I mean, they use the service, so I suppose there is a little bit of consent in that. But now they don't have the option to do it for free.
Yeah, that's really not fair.
No, I agree.
So now YouTube's fucking everybody.
YouTube is fucking everybody.
So not
back to a point. Sorry, what were you saying?
No. You go ahead.
Well, what I was going to say is back to a point that you said is with Joe Rogan going to Spotify. Now there's going to be room for guys like me and you to take his spot on YouTube.
That's exactly it.
There's going to be a gap in content.
There's going to be a massive gap in content. Could you imagine that? You and I, me and you, you and I.
Yeah, we're going to the top, baby. We're going to the top.
Nothing up but the top, baby. That's it. I mean, we can't go any lower. I mean, we got the viewership of a small cable show. So I mean, that's exactly what we're doing, right? But all I could say is like, I just think that YouTube will have to rethink, because the minute Rogan goes and the minute like Tractorhead's talking about some of these guys, they're just gonna have to like figure out they're gonna have to change everything about YouTube, because it'll get stale. Because there's not gonna be new guys creating content. Like Joe Rogan fought to become Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's is like the godfather of podcasts, right? Started with his own app, and then all of a sudden was like, I'll do this on YouTube, and slowly grew it in.
He didn't start with his own app. I believe he might have started on You Now, and but eventually he spent a long time on YouTube, but climbed his way up from basically doing what we're doing all the way to the top. So good on him.
Yeah, man. Good for him for sure.
Yeah, man. So, Sydny Powell, what do you think about this chick?
You're going to have to refresh my memory on this crazy broad again.
I can't believe we didn't talk about her last week. When I was sort of filling out the content for this week's show, I was thinking, we already talked about her. But Sydny Powell is part of the elite lawyer strike force for Donald Trump that includes Rudy Giuliani and all of his elite lawyers, and she is going to bring the Kraken. She's going to release a reckoning on everyone. She's got the silver bullet that's going to take down Joe Biden. Everybody praised her. Even the Democrats were like, if this bitch is involved, shit's going to get serious. We got to take this seriously. Maybe there's some validity to what is going on with Donald Trump's case. And then within a week of her being on the team, Donald Trump himself was like, we don't got nothing to do with that girl. She is not on my team. She's acting independent of herself. We are not involved with her in any way, shape, or form. They distanced herself from her.
Huh. So she's cuckoo crazy.
She's cuckoo. Well, I mean, they're all crazy, but when you're so fucking crazy that even Donald Trump's like, this doesn't have any merit, I need to get away from her. Yeah.
How crazy do you have to be for Trump and Giuliani? Like, wow, that bitch is crazy. How crazy do you have to be?
That shit insane. Some of her claims are pretty interesting, though, that the Dominion voter machines were designed to create fraud, and that they're also designed to be unprovable. You cannot go into the machine and sort of find records of it creating fraud within it, which seems kind of crazy to anyone that's ever done anything on a computer. Of course, there's going to be a record of it. She says, no, they were designed specifically not to be able to trace them, things like that. And Tucker Carlson has invited her on his show to provide any shred of proof, and she refused. And at that point, it seems like that might have been where Donald Trump turned on Sydny Powell, because Donald Trump is a big fan of Tucker Carlson.
Yeah. Could they not have like a system in the States where it's like a bank machine? You pick who you vote for, like you touch the screen, deek, and then you get like a little chit that just says who you voted for.
I mean, you could. Why would you want that, though? I'm not really
Well,
sure.
because you'd be able to prove fraud or not. You'd be like, no, I have my chit here. Like I voted for Biden. Like, what is she saying? What is she saying? Like fraudulently was done.
She's saying that they just created votes. They flipped a bunch of votes from Trump to Biden. They lied. A bunch of unfounded claims. Just every claim you could think of is what they're saying, and she's pretty much the worst at it.
Yeah, no shit, eh?
Yeah. So she's been off the case. The other thing is I believe it was Georgia, or might have been Pennsylvania. I'm not sure the exact state, but there was a state where she was accusing fraud, and she was asked, well, in order for that to be true, the governor in that state, I believe it is, the governor in that state, who is a avid supporter of Donald Trump, would have had to have been in on it. Are you accusing that person of being in on this conspiracy against Donald Trump? And she says, absolutely, 100%. And shortly after, Donald Trump distanced himself from her.
Jesus Christ.
So nobody's really sure what exactly was the straw that broke the camel's back, but on a long enough timeline, Sydny Powell has offended even Donald Trump with her crazy conspiracies.
That's amazing. Like, that's just amazing on how crazy you can go to get Trump to go, I'm done. Yeah. Walk away. Like, go to Canada. Like, that's exactly what I'm doing. Like, ship you off to Canada for sure. That's absolutely. So she's no longer practicing law, I would assume now.
Actually, I think that she's still pursuing the case on her own. That was the impression that I was getting from the stories that were coming out. And so she is pursuing it, but no longer representing no longer part of Donald Trump's legal team or representing him in a personal way.
What if that's all Trumpy's ploy?
What do you mean?
If he goes, okay, here's the deal. You're crazy. You're batshit crazy. I like you. You're crazy. I don't want you to be I want you to be nonpartisan. You just go and do it. And I'm just going to pay you like out the back door. And you just come out and I say, I distance myself from that woman. The other side respects you. I just think you're crazy. And if you can prove it, hey, we're ready to go.
It's an interesting theory, is that perhaps even having a lawyer distance themselves from you in order to say things or do things that you can't say or do. Perhaps, I don't know enough about law, but that's an interesting idea, that maybe she's using that as a
sell job
attack from.
it's all a sell job is what it is. It's nothing major. It's just a sell job.
Could be. I will say that her conspiracies about this election are pretty out there. So we'll have to see how that one plays out.
Absolutely. Let's see what happens. Adam, have you ever contacted a business to do something, or maybe a place of employment, and they actually did it?
Yeah. What do you mean? Like I've ordered a pizza.
No shit, eh? I guess so. But have you ever seen what Netflix has done for Mr. Chapelle.
Oh, so Netflix. So
I hated Netflix. I still hate them. I hate
Netflix.
They keep raising the goddamn prices, man. I think up to $14.99 a month now. Like, blow me. I started off they were $7.99 a month, and I kept them, and then all of a sudden it was like $10.99. Now it's $15.99 in 4 years. I'm like, all right, so I might as well just keep cable.
I mean, the price goes up with the price of things going up, and also they've put a lot of money into their production. They've got stuff like Stranger Things and Glow. Have you seen Glow?
No.
It's fucking awesome.
Well, I've seen the first season, but I didn't watch anything else after that.
Fucking awesome.
Sure. Chapelle, what happened with Chapelle? Inform me on what happened with Monsieur Chapelle here.
All right. So Dave Chapelle has been asking people to boycott Chappelle's show, which is an interesting situation. You would think the last guy in the world that would ask his fans to boycott his content would be Chapelle. You wouldn't want to see Dave Chapelle get his content boycotted, but he'd later reveal that when he signed with Viacom CBS, that they basically decided that they can take his content wherever the hell they want without his permission, without his consent, and without paying him. So what he is asking is for people to boycott not any network, not any streaming service, but that specific show. Boycott him unless he gets paid for it. And once he realized that Netflix was doing this to him and he has a relationship with Netflix, he called them up and he said, hey guys, that's not really cool. I didn't get paid for this. And you guys, like, nobody asked me if this shit could go on Netflix. And Netflix said, you know what? You're right. We don't like that. And they took it down.
Yeah, so I have a little love for Netflix. I have a little bit of love for Netflix that they've done that for Chapelle, because who knows? They could have paid X number of dollars to get that on their streaming service, right? They probably paid like whatever it was, and they go, oh, okay, yeah, you know what? The only thing that that surprises me is that must mean that Netflix has to pay them per view on that. Because like if I had to pay like $30 million for the Chapelle show.
I think that they're just taking it on the chin. I don't think they take it I think they probably paid a licensing deal to Viacom. And
I'd like to know. I wish they came out with how much it was for. That's what I wish they would do.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I don't really know though. Maybe they get paid per view. I doubt that though. But
so
they didn't. I would assume it's a licensing deal. They pay. Hey, we're gonna have Chappelle show on our streaming service exclusively for a year or 2 years or 5 years for this amount of money, and yeah.
And they're not paying Chapelle. The reason why the other company's not paying Chapelle is because he backed out of the contract right at the end of it.
I'm not sure. You know, there is that holds up to me. That makes sense to me. But it could have just been that he signed a contract where he didn't have the right for it to go into what is the phrase, new forms of media, or new forms of media or something. There was something that.
Yeah, but the new forms of media, like once it goes into syndication, right? Like once it goes into syndication, it doesn't matter on what platform it's on. It's still in syndication, right? But like if you watch 2.5 Men on Amazon Prime, like Charlie Sheen's still getting money. Like he even said that. He even laughed at it. He was like, "Yeah, he's like, you can come from the show. I don't care." He's like, "I already did my 5 seasons or 4 seasons, and this is what I'm getting. I got syndication coming. I'm good."
But I'm sure Charlie Sheen has better lawyers than Dave Chappelle had when he signed with the Chappelle Show, because he was not that well known when he signed with Chappelle Show. It was only afterwards that he sort of blew up. I'm not really sure, but I do know that in the music industry that a lot of people got screwed because they signed for CDs, and then once they got into streaming, they didn't get anything out of these streaming deals because it's a new form of media, and now they have things in their contracts that protect them against that sort of thing if they have a good enough lawyer.
He needs to get himself Metallica then.
He needs to get himself Metallica. Yeah, he needs to call up Metallica and get them.
He needs to call up Metallica.
Shit out of this.
Yeah, he needs to get Lars on the phone. Okay, how did you take down Napster and completely make JM pay for Spotify? Okay, there we go. Now we're ready to go. That's who I need.
Yeah, I think it's pretty fucked up though that they can take his content and put it on on shit without his permission, without giving him any money.
But if it was because he walked away from the contract and didn't fulfill the whole contract, that's on Chapelle. That's not on.
I don't know if I agree with that. Is that on Chapelle? Like
That's on, dude. If you quit, if I fired you, you might have a case. But if you quit, you walked away from $50 million. That's mine, man. That is mine.
But I mean, he finished the season. He just didn't sign for a new season. That's one thing. And the other thing is, I mean, it still seems pretty fucked up that you can just sort of find some small technicality and say, oh, you didn't fulfill your end of the contract, and now we just get to do whatever we want. That doesn't seem right to me.
Well, it didn't seem right, but it's been happening for years because Michael Jackson owned all the rights to the Beatles songs.
Yeah, but that's a different situation, though.
How is that a different situation?
Because he purchased them.
He purchased them off of somebody who had the rights to them. So anytime you use the Beatles song, the money went to Michael Jackson, not the Beatles, because
that's got nothing to do with them not fulfilling a contract.
No, but it's the same thing with the Chapelle Show. If you don't have the money to the Chapelle Show, right? Like if you don't own the masters to something and then you do it, if we're looking at it the music point of view, that's exactly what they're doing, it sounds like to me. Is they're saying, it's your show, but we own the rights to your show. We can do whatever the fuck we want. Like if we bought the rights to the Dave Chappelle Show, we could call our show the Dave Chappelle Show. Well, Chappelle's not even on it.
I don't see the comparison to the Beatles situation, but I think, I get that a breach of contract, they're well within their right, and I'm sure that that's probably what they're sort of exploiting. I don't think it's right that they could do something like that.
No, but you're kind of missing the point, right? So that Dave Chappelle has a contract, and like if you look at it from music, so you go, okay, so the masters are with the copies of the original copies and the copyrights of those songs. The Chapelle, just don't look at it as music. Just look at the Chapelle Show as they own a company. The company owns it. So Chappelle's the artist. Chapelle created it, but somebody else owns it. It's the same thing with music. Taylor Swift made the music, or the Beatles made the music. Michael Jackson bought the rights to that song or to those songs, and now he owns the Beatles. He owns all the money that comes to it. He doesn't own the Beatles. He owns the property to it.
But that's not because of a contract breach.
But it doesn't matter because Chapelle didn't take the masters with him. So somebody else owns the rights to that. Even if it's not even a contract breach, even if it's like, I walked away from $50 million. It sounds like to me his contract was fulfilled from what you just said. So he just didn't want to re-up with them for $50 million. He just walked away. He's like, I'm done. That company owns the rights to the Chapelle Show, all the tapings of it.
Yeah,
so that's what happens.
I agree. Well, that's what I was saying is.
You don't think it's fair. You think it sucks, but I mean, it happens. It's business.
But no, that's what I was saying is that I don't know if it's necessarily that he breached his contract or that was just the contract that he signed.
Well, yeah, but like the WCW guys get paid, like when WCW lost all that whole digital library to WWE. What happens there? Does Ted Turner get a cut? Does Eric Bischoff get a cut? No, but I'm saying like they probably don't because they don't own that they don't own the property. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm sure that I don't really know. I'm sure that I don't really know if they get a cut. I know that people who work for WWE do get a cut when they appear in DVDs or whatever. I would imagine it's the same for WCW properties as well. I don't really know.
No, but I'm just kind of using that as an example. There's like, I understand, but if they own it just because they own the rights to that, there's nothing you can do. I mean, that's the entertainment business.
Mm-hmm.
Then buy the rights to the Chapelle Show.
All I'm saying is I don't think it's right. I don't think it's right that they can put his use his work without having to pay him for it. Make money off of him.
They already paid him. They already paid him for it. They already paid him for it. So
yeah.
If your job is if you build the house and you build your house and somebody goes, well, that's an amazing house. And they take your prints from your house, your architectural prints, and you don't have those copyright. They use those. Are they supposed to now, you get paid for every house that's built under that?
Well, that's a different situation.
If you built,
I'm not really sure any about that, actually, to be honest.
But okay, so if you build, I used to build pins for backhoes. So they would sell that pin to a machine. Now, if that machine got sold again, do I get a cut of that? of that pin? No, that's what I'm saying. Is that you were paid to create?
That's a different contract situation. I don't know, man. I don't think it's right. I think it feels weird that they can just go ahead and put him on another place and make money off of him without his permission. I think it's sad, and I support Dave Chappelle. I will boycott anything that uses Chappelle's show without paying him.
I support Chappelle. I support Chappelle. I just think that you got to look at the contract. So you had a shitty person do your contract the first time.
Yeah.
That's basically all. That's all it came down to.
That's kind of what I was saying. Yeah, it looks like.
But how long ago was that? That was what, 99?
Something like that. I would say more like early 2000s.
Early 2000s.
Say early 2000s is probably about it. Maybe early 2000s.
So we have 20 years now of education on that, right? And before that, you're probably like looking at certain things that you're like, what the hell? That doesn't make sense to me, right?
Well, I'm not sure if it's that we've got 20 years of education. I think that I don't know. I think that it's now that we have these new streaming services that nobody could have predicted. Then we transferring that media into a new.
But that doesn't matter, because you could have went to Blockbuster and bought a season of the Chappelle Show, or rented a season of the Chappelle Show.
You could have gone to Blockbuster. No, but what I'm saying is it's a different sort of media. It's different. It's
not different, because it's the same thing. You just have Blockbuster.
Well, no, it's not the same. No, it's not. No, it's absolutely not the same.
How is it not the same?
Because you're buying a DVD for, I don't know, $20, and you're paying for a subscription to Netflix for $7.
But coming towards the end of Blockbuster, they had the unlimited rentals for $20 a month.
Okay.
So you could just go get the Dave Chappelle DVD, bring it home, and watch it. Yeah. You basically have that type of Blockbuster at the flick of your thumbs now. That's all you have. But it hasn't changed.
It has changed. It absolutely has.
It's the same premise.
It's not the same premise, because it's a streaming service. You don't stream it. It's a different technology. And what I'm saying is that's probably the loophole that they've used.
But I know what I'm saying to you is that, so if I own a season of the Chappelle Show, he didn't get any money from that. So
I don't know the contract, man. I can't speculate. I can't.
No, but I'm saying technically it's the same thing. I could still go to Blockbuster and get the Dave Chappelle Show, bring it home and watch it. I had unlimited access to Blockbuster. You just have that access in your own home now. That's the only. You have a more of a convenience.
Okay. What I'm saying is, you can't. I don't know what I'm even saying anymore.
All right, is Rob coming on today, or what's the deal here?
I don't know, man. I've been waiting for him to get a hold of me. Are we doing the Mandalorian without him?
I hope not. I'm way too tired for that, and I gotta get a work call in. You coming? Hang on. I'm typing and talking at the same time. Dude, while we wait and talk, just give me my sec, my show. Sorry, give me a minute. I'm just really having some issues today. Give me a minute. Perfect. Okay. J-Lo. Wow.
Oh yeah, J-Lo. What's going on with that?
Nice, isn't it?
Yeah,
nice?
You showed me that picture. I was completely unaware. She's looking pretty good.
Looking pretty good for a 51-year-old. Let's call her 50s. Woman in her 50s. 51. Let's not age J-Lo, because I still remember when we grew up with J-Lo. If that really makes me happy and sad all at once. Happy we grew up with her. They want to cancel J-Lo because they're saying that she is body shaming people who cannot attain that body of a 50-year-old.
What? That is.
That's how we found it on Twitter. Actually, I had no idea she had posed like that, right? And they were like, well, they want to cancel her. And I was kind of reading it, and I'm like, wait a sec. And like some of the people that are doing it, like the E-Nows and the E-Talks and all these guys, like they're the same ones that praised wet ass pussy. And I think it's true. I think I'm reading it wrong, because I'm like, well, one, you could just like, you want to make women stronger. You want to make them like, this is okay to how to state your body. And I'm like, okay, like I'm not a fan of that song. But to me, it's just, I don't like the song. I don't like the people singing it. But at one point with J-Lo, I'm like, dude, not a lot of people have that much time on their hands to get the J-Lo body. Like I'm assuming she puts a lot of time in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
and she watches she's always watched what she's eaten. She's always been fit.
Well, I mean, she's been a dancer for, like 30 years, so I'm sure she's...
More than that. Oh, more than that, dude. I think
Sure.
she got her break in her 20s when she was, well, how old was she when she did Selena? Like 19, 20?
Yeah.
And she was a backup dancer before that on In Living Color.
Yeah, so there you go. She's been dancing her whole life. She knows, dancing burns a lot of calories, gets you in shape. Good for her, man. She's looking banging.
It looks great.
I don't think that this is like, to be honest, it's almost body shaming her to say that she's body shaming other people because she's showing off her body and they're shaming her for that. Like it's so ass backwards.
It's like, hey, you can be an independent woman, burn your bra, don't wear your pants, wear underwear, do whatever you got to do. Don't ever post a naked photo of yourself at the age of 51.
Don't ever be attractive. We're not allowed to do that.
You're not allowed to do that. This beard makes me look like Grizzly Adams. Jesus Christ.
Grizzly
But no,
Adams did have a beard.
Mm.
No, but okay, let's stay on topic here. So she's posting a picture of her that is attractive, and that's body shaming people who are unattractive?
I guess so.
I can't wrap my head around that. That's, to me, they're just body shaming her. They're body shaming her for posting an attractive picture.
Correct.
That's the only way that I can see it, is you're coming down on her for posting a picture of herself. You're body shaming her.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like, okay, who cares? Don't look at it. Move on.
Yeah, move on.
Move on, man. Because that's great.
An unattainable standard of attractiveness.
No, and I agree with you 100%. I agree with them 100%. Like, that's unattainable for the average person. Correct. But if there's something you want to do and work for, you can get that body. You just have to put the time in. Yeah, like, you can't sit on the couch and eat potato chips and watch Netflix.
No.
Like, you can't watch Netflix and get that. Unless you're on a treadmill and you're running and you're watching what you're eating. That's it.
I agree. So people are upset because I don't know. It just doesn't sound right to me.
Now, do we not have it worse off as men towards women? And I know I'm going to get eaten alive for that.
Do we have it worse off as men towards women? What do you mean?
Like, we're body shamed more than women are.
Are we body shamed more than women are? I don't know if I would say that.
Adam, when was the last time you seen a calendar? When was the last time you seen a calendar of dad bods?
I'm sure there's one that exists.
But how often? Usually it's a firefighter calendar, or there's naked men, or, I did this before. I kind of made a comment to somebody. Somebody had asked me for help, and I went to an office that I used to go to, and there was a photo of a half-naked man calendar. And I kind of looked at it, and I was like, how the hell does that work? I'm like, what? I'm like, if I had a naked calendar in my office at work, which I don't have one anymore, but I'm a pig. I'm just a typical white male, but because this guy's got a six-pack and he's on juice, means it's okay to put him up. Like, to me, I don't care. Like, I see a lot of guys that are in really good shape. Good for them.
Well, what I will say is that when we're talking about the standard of beauty for men versus the standard of beauty for women, I think that, and I'm going to be a little bit careful here, it might be a little bit easier for a woman to achieve the standard of beauty for a woman than it is for men to look like the 240-pound guy with 3% body fat, kind of the guy who's clearly on steroids and doing altering his own health in an unhealthy way to get to be that hulking guy with a very super low body fat percentage.
I agree with you 100%, man, because you know what? And I know women fight with their bodies, but so do men. Mm-hmm. Like, they go, yeah, look at this guy. Like, look at Chris Hemsworth with the biopic for Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
That guy's shredded now, and that's all steroids. We're like, oh, he looks great. I'm like, guys, that's steroids. Mm-hmm. Same with Captain America. He's running in a white T-shirt in the first Captain America. There's no way that guy's never been that big.
Same with The Rock.
The Rock, yeah. No, The Rock's clean.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure he is, But I mean, it's just like, that's the stuff that we have to do for that, right? And then whenever the guy loses or gains a little weight, like Leo gets body shamed, like, Leo has dad bod. He's like, yeah, look at my 21-year-old model. Probably that's too old for him. I think it's 18, but I mean, that's neither here nor there, right?
There was probably like 15 years ago now, probably. Fucking that picture of Vin Diesel, and everybody's going, oh, he's out of shape. What a loser.
Dude, yeah, because we got to put stuff, and if he doesn't want to put stuff in his body, then he's already at a loss, right?
Yeah.
Like if you don't want to put, if you want to put natural stuff in your body, then you can go ahead and do so. But if you're not going to do that, like if you're going to take steroids, like you can get real big real quick, right?
Yeah. So I think we agree is that it's hard to achieve that standard of beauty for both sexes, but I think for men to get to that peak, but you know what? I will say that women have it a little bit better because men, it's okay to have a dad bod. You don't have to hit that high standard. You know, the standard is higher for men. The high standard is higher, a little bit harder to achieve for men, but I think that what's acceptable for men is pretty low too. Do we agree on that?
Yes, I agree with you 110%.
Yeah, men can kind of let themselves go a little bit more free to let themselves go.
Yes, absolutely. And then when some women do it, they go, "Oh, what the hell's wrong with her?"
Yeah.
And then we don't know some of the other stuff too. Like I can only talk about the girls that come forward, right? You know what I mean? Yeah. And then but you can also get like with the Me Too movement, some of these directors telling females like, "Oh, you got to lose an extra 20, 10 or 15 pounds." Or somebody making fun of Chris Pratt on the Avengers because he ended up gaining too much weight.
All right, man. Let's get into the Mandalorian. We got Rob in the waiting room.
Let's
see what we're walking into here.
I hope he's got pants on.
Rob. Connecting.
He's connecting audio.
I don't know why it takes so long to connect with Rob.
Because he's on his phone. I don't even know if he's still there. I thought he said in the group chat he was leaving.
Did he say he's leaving? I didn't see him say he's leaving.
Last comment. Maybe he's not even there anymore.
I didn't. Let me double check. I'm just checking here. Rob says he's.
I'm in the lobby. And now
come on, Rob. Get your shit together.
Toss him.
What are we doing?
Can we toss him? I don't even know if we could toss him.
Do you want to toss him?
There he is. There he is. Oh, look at this guy. Nice shirt, buddy. There you go. Looking good. Okay, can you hear us? No. Oh, okay. So we had video. At least he had pants on and his shirt buttoned up. I mean, that's all you can ask for at this point.
Wow, Rob.
Rob is on fire right now.
Rob is on fire. I'm guessing Sunday's not a good night for Rob, which...
No, it's family night. For us, we don't have families.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rob's connecting his...
You have a family? What are you talking about?
I do, and I've got the...
I'm here, guys.
Hey, there he is.
You know what? I was here the whole time, and I messaged, and you guys didn't get back to me. I said, hey, what's the deal? What's the estimate on the phone-in time? So you guys are the ones who need to get your shit together.
I saw you pop up on the participants, and then we just sort of finished that JLo story, and I added you shortly after. It looks like you were only in there for about that JLo story is what I saw.
It's okay, guys.
Well,
let's get right into the Mandalorian.
Anyway, we're all here. That's what matters, right?
All right.
Let's get right into Mando, guys.
All right, so let's get to the Mandalorian. What episode are we on now? Is it 5?
5. Now it's 5. I think I misspoke and called the last one 5, but this one's 5.
It's all good.
It's okay. Good. So what did you guys think?
I know this is going to be an unpopular opinion. I was a little disappointed.
I thought it was awesome.
I thought it was lame. There were so many missed opportunities. I was still looking forward to Ahsoka Tano, and I thought the fights were kind of shitty, to be honest.
What? I thought the fights were pretty cool.
I don't know. I found them kind of boring. I was expecting a lot more out of them, and I thought there was going to be a big reveal almost, because we talked about how I knew that Beskar stops the lightsaber beam, right? So that's the whole point of the Beskar armor, because most of the Mandalorian armor was made to fight against Jedi, and so I thought they could have done it a lot cooler. It was cool when he blocked it, and but I thought it could have been done a little bit more, more in a more exciting way. I think for the people that didn't know that he was able to block it, maybe she, and she could have killed him, right, if he hadn't blocked like that. But I just felt like they rushed it a little bit, and this is almost like the when Thor's fighting Captain America or whatever, when they first meet, those kind of fights or whatever, right? When they're just like, oh, here's a Jedi, let's throw her against a Mandalorian and see what happens. So I understand they didn't want to like overdo it, but I thought it was a little bit lame.
I kind of agree. You also touched on the Ahsoka Tano reveal. I did kind of expect that it would be sort of like The Force Awakens, where the last scene is where you finally have this big reveal of who this person is, but it was just boom, first scene, there she is.
Yeah, and that was okay because we knew they were going there, and they already said her name in the last episode. So I guess that was almost the reveal of them, saying her name. So now it's like canon, and then yeah. So that was that. Yeah, it was a little bit. I guess they could have been cooler, and it's more cool if like she's got the dual white lightsabers. So that would kind of be a cool scene if all of a sudden you just saw it like that.
Yeah. What do you think of the show, Jean-Marc?
I enjoyed it. I really did. The actress in there is amazing. Of course, yet again, they seem to be hitting it out without the actresses and actors in there are fantastic people, right?
Yeah.
I liked it. I didn't mind the episode. I thought it was kind of cool. I really did. I was like, yeah, all right. Yeah, there he is. Okay, Rob, if you click and look at something else, your screen goes black. Let's not play that too often.
No, I'm trying to figure it out because it's not showing me full screen when I'm talking, so it's kind of confusing me a little bit.
Is it not
I'm always in the top right. No, I can't find a way to see when I'm talking. Like
whenever you're talking, there should be a yellow box in front of you. Like it should be around you, like a yellow box.
Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. To me, they seem to be doing some great things with the choosing of their actors. I think, and that is making it a lot better, even for just the average fan. Like I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that show. You guys said it was slow to me. To me, it wasn't too bad. Like to me, I'm like, yeah, all right, whatever. But we're getting more content. We're getting more fights now. Like we're getting some fun stuff. I think now they just need to start get off Mando for like a couple of minutes and go to somebody else. Evolve another story so that you have your mind's always thinking on two or three things, right? Because I don't like watching one whole story just kind of evolve and develop, and then you're like, okay, so what's going on somewhere else in the universe?
Yeah, that's interesting. I think that they're probably going to follow the Mandalorian through most of the show, though. I think that's kind of what the show's about. But I do think that we are, how do I say it? We are building a universe, and we may even see spin-off shows. Perhaps Rosario Dawson could do her own sort of spin-off as a Ahsoka Tano, or even in any of these other characters.
You would hope so, but they've built them so high now to just literally, like, pardon my language, kick ass. Like that's all that's all they do is just, they literally go in, they go, 80 guys, no problem. There's 2 of us. We'll kill everybody. You're like, all right. Then the little green guy still hasn't died yet, whatever his name is. Kobushu or whatever his name is.
Grogu. We have a name. What do you guys think of this name? Grogu.
Sounds like something.
I don't really like it.
Sounds like something you step on.
It sounds like he's like a...
You stepped on
what's
Grogu.
that on my shoe? It's Grogu.
It's Grogu.
Well, it's like he's
not Grogu again.
He produces slime. He's Grogu. He grows goo.
Yeah.
Wow. That also sounds...
I don't know. It's an alien name.
Yeah, that also sounds like a reference towards some type of 18+ movie. The old Grogu. Yeah.
I feel like all these names are stupid when you stop and think about them, and we just over time we found Yoda. Okay, like that's a classic name.
Ewoks.
Because we grew up with it.
Who came up with the word Ewoks? You're like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, none of it makes sense. So I guess it's going to be awkward when he's like calling him, if the Mandalorian's going to be calling Baby Yoda Grogu now, and he responds to it. And I guess, and so then, I don't know, do you want to talk about that whole reveal? I kind of don't like it when actors just tell you plot points. Like I like to see things, Yeah. So I always find it cheap in movies, and that was my big problem with the last Star Wars movie, whatever it was called, Rise of Skywalker. It's like, don't just tell me about what happens. Like, show me it. Like, don't be like, it looks like, I guess every Star Destroyer has every Star Destroyer can blow up a planet now. Like, so there should be some kind of lead up to it. All those things, they're just kind of, they throw it at you, right?
But it's interesting, like you said, so we've gotten the backstory for Grogu, for Baby Yoda, but they just sort of told it to us. They just, here's his entire life story. And he was Jedi, a youngling, and he was trained.
So you guys wanted you wanted a cutscene, like a thinking back cutscene. Is that what you wanted?
There's other ways to explore it,
Guys,
you got to think of how much money. Like how many. No, money isn't an object at all for Disney, and it's just lack of imagination, unfortunately, in a lot of these things. And I hate criticizing them because I love the show, but okay, we've been waiting to find out who he is all this time, all the clone theories, all this theory, that theory, and now that was our reveal. Just her saying oh yeah, I remember, we're communicating with our thoughts, and it seems like he was at the Jedi Temple and he was trained. So it's just kind of, and I know it's not the whole story, but it's kind of lame, to be honest.
Do you think that he could be Yoda's child?
It's possible, I guess. And but I don't know, I guess that would make sense too, hiding him. But there's a lot of leaps in logic.
Oh, we just lost Rob.
Oh,
speaking of leaps in logic,
I got so angry, but yeah, no, the mount broke. I'll show you after how I really set this up in a rush, because I was all of a sudden, okay, we're ready for Rob. I had no idea, right? Because I was messaging. So now I was oh my God, I got to throw this mount together. So,
sorry,
so we're here. Anyway,
selfie stick.
So I'm gonna misuse a term here. MacGuffin. Are you guys familiar with a MacGuffin?
Yeah.
MacGuffin is sort of like a character, sort of something that forwards the plot. Up until this point, the MacGuffin for this show, and I realize I'm misusing the phrase a little bit, was Baby Yoda's origin. Now that we have it, I find it interesting that it's sort of aligning with the introduction of all these recognizable characters, this expanded universe. Now we've got Boba Fett, we've got Ahsoka Tano, we've got all these other characters right around the same time that that this MacGuffin is off the table. I think it's an interesting writing choice.
Yeah, I guess almost the MacGuffin, in A New Hope, would have been R2-D2, right? He has the plan, so everybody's after him. It's almost like that thing that drives, you're saying, it drives the story. It's that main object everybody's after. It's a whatever you call it. You could call it a robot or a plan or whatever. And yeah, I feel the mystery all these episodes was about Baby Yoda. So to not if you imagine a mystery movie where it's just somebody there's this mystery that goes on, and they're oh my God, what's the reveal going to be? Some key piece of evidence, that blows it all open, Sixth Sense. All of a sudden he realizes that spoiler alert, that Bruce Willis was dead.
Spoilers! What are you
doing? More shit. Spoil more shit, man. Spoil it all.
Come on, if it's too bad if you haven't seen it by now.
In the chat that's never seen it. We're gonna get so many dislikes.
You're too late. So yes. So you gotta look, and you could edit this out, Adam, if you really feel strongly about it. But it's just imagine if that just happened, and just the kid just looked up to Bruce Willis and just said, "Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you, Bruce, you're actually a ghost." Wouldn't that be lame? Because it was so much more exciting that he found it out on himself, and then he thinks back to all those times throughout the movie where it explained it, right? Mm-hmm. So that's how I felt about this reveal, because we've had I don't know, if you add up all the time, it's been hours and hours of story, and then it's just I just communicated with him telepathically, and it sounds like he was born, he was raised at the Jedi Temple, and somebody took him away.
Yeah.
And so that part's still the second part of his backstory is the mystery, but I don't know. To me, it was a little bit disappointing.
And who knows? Maybe they go on and they show a little backstory. Maybe they just piss away a whole episode and go backstory on it.
Could be,
who knows?
Could be. So who do you guys think? Do you think that we could have a Jedi train Grogu, and could it be someone that we know?
No.
No? You don't think anyone will train him?
No, somebody will, but it won't be somebody we know. Because it would cost too much money to get Mark Hamill to do it. I don't even know if Mark Hamill's still alive.
Mark Hamill is still alive. To be honest, I don't think it would be Luke Skywalker.
Yeah,
but you know what?
I don't know if Skywalker's still alive.
my brain does immediately go to when they go, oh, another Jedi you'll call out to another Jedi. My brain immediately goes to, oh, it'd be cool if it was Luke Skywalker, but it's not gonna be, but it'd be cool. And wouldn't it be cool to see Ahsoka Tano and Luke Skywalker eventually meet in this show? Because these are all characters that are still in this universe somewhere. The time frame lines up for all of that to happen.
Yeah, it's a possibility, and I don't know. And everybody's geeking out about Ahsoka Tano finally in the canon, and theorizing. Okay, well, and I guess the explanation to explain away everything is like, oh, it's a huge universe, so they don't run into each other all the time. But like, it is kind of lame that Ahsoka Tano's out there and she's just doing her own thing, and that gets into like the bigger, I guess, almost the bigger reveal for me for a character, but. It just is it's so weird that, all these players in the universe are acting independently of each other. And even for Ahsoka Tano to be like, oh, okay, there's another Yoda. I didn't know there was another one. But anyway, just go see this temple. It's just another quest, right? It just, like I was saying last episode of our show, like of this podcast, it's starting to feel like a video game where every episode is like, okay, so you beat this level. Now you better go to the Jedi Temple and do this part next.
I kind of, do you know what, Rob? Now that you say that, I kind of was like, this kind of reminds me of a Zelda game.
Like that's what I've been saying the whole time. Every week I say it reminds me of a video game. You do this quest and you go on to the next quest.
Reminds me of like Zelda. It's like, okay, but if you want to get these boots, you got to go over here. Oh, okay, I'll go over there. Yeah. You want to get that shield, you got to go here. That's exactly what it reminds me of. Thanks, Rob. Now I'm going to call it Zelda. That's what we're going to watch.
So I have to ask a question. What can you tell me about Grand Admiral Thrawn?
I could tell you so much about him, Adam. And why don't I focus on the stuff that isn't canon anymore? Because I read or I listened to the audiobooks of the Thrawn. Basically, Thrawn kind of restarted a lot of interest in Star Wars in the early 90s. All kinds of different authors wrote Star Wars stories in the expanded universe. And Timothy Zahn wrote this one about Thrawn. He's this really interesting character. He's like almost like a secret Grand Admiral. The Grand Admirals, I think there's only like 12 or something of them in the whole universe. So that's supposed to be like a big deal. Like they're the highest level general before the Emperor. And so Thrawn was one of these, but nobody knew about him because he was operating in this really remote area. So he basically, and a lot of the story is almost like he was so smart that if he was involved in the whole rebellion, like it wouldn't have stood a chance against. That's basically how they build him up, that he's so smart that he basically finds a way to like get involved after the Empire falls, and he basically regroups all the Imperials to fight against the New Republic. So there's all these there's these books about what he did, and he's just a really cool character. So he shows up in Rebels. That's why I really want you to watch those seasons of Rebels, and it leaves on a cliffhanger, so you don't know what happens with him, because it's still in the same space where now they showed him before the rebellion. So it's like, okay, well, where is he during the rebellion? Because he would get involved. We'd hear about him. So they had to come up with a way for him not to be involved in the first trilogy.
So he's mostly featured in the books that are no longer considered canon.
Yes, but he's in Rebels, which is canon, and there was a canon book about him just called Thrawn.
Okay,
that is canon. So he was already back in the canon, but we have confirmation that he's now essentially they know he's still alive, because it wasn't 100% clear. But now if Ahsoka Tano, it wasn't asking like, is Thrawn alive? She was like, where's Thrawn? So she knows he's alive.
Yeah. Interesting, because at the end of the episode, when she's like, take me to your leader. And you're expecting Moss, what's his name?
Moff Gideon.
Moff Gideon, yeah. Expecting her to say Moff Gideon, and it's Grand Admiral Thrawn, and it's like, oh, that's a plot twist. It's just interesting that they're expanding this universe. Star Wars has been criticized for the universe being smaller. Everybody's sort of related to each other, and everybody's somebody's uncle or cousin or brother. But this is interesting that they're sort of going through the effort of they're expanding it, but they're also shrinking it in the same way, because they're bringing back old characters too, eh?
Yeah, and I guess it's really interesting the way that it's like, it's not as black and white as like Empire bad, Rebellion good. in the old trilogy. Now it's like, okay, New Republic, yeah, they're doing good things, but they seem like they're not very effective in the Outer Rim. Like they don't care about the Outer Rim. It seems like how they're kind of spinning it. So they kind of give them the runaround, and they don't really respect Kim's Convenience guy. They're just like, yeah, we saw some Imperials, go basically just treating them like a rural sheriff or something. They're just like, okay, thanks for checking in with us. Go go investigate over there, doofy, or something. Like they don't treat him very well, because, and you'd think it would be like, oh, he's part of the New Republic, he's like a hero, he probably has. And he was talking to Cara Dune about how she had these medals and he really respected her, but it wasn't mutual, unfortunately, because they don't see eye to eye. So it's kind of, so now we have a bunch of villains for the Mandalorian. We have Boba Fett, we have Moff Gideon, and now maybe Thrawn is going to be one as well. So if Moff Gideon dies, like there's other people involved. If Boba Fett and him get into a fight, maybe they'll part ways and he'll be like a lingering threat.
There's a rogues gallery of people, so you can kill one of them off and you don't have to worry. There's none of that. They won't kill that guy because he's the big baddie. He's got to stick around. We've actually got a question in the chat. What movie would I have to watch to start watching Clone Wars? I believe you'd want to watch the original trilogy, but you'd also want to watch the prequel trilogies up to at least Attack of the Clones, I think, right?
Yeah, you'd want to watch the first two, Attack of the Clones, and then basically the last episode of Clone Wars leads right into Revenge of the Sith.
And Rebels takes place after the prequel trilogies? Is that correct?
It takes place basically after the prequels and before A New Hope.
All right.
That is a lot of time to invest.
Yeah, it is.
For some people, like, to be honest, like if you just kind of want to watch a show, that's what makes this so hard. You either love it or you hate it. Like there's no middle, because you've got to really invest your time into it. Yeah. Which I mean is good for some things, but it's ridiculously how hard it is. Like so if you want to watch the Clone Wars, which is 7 seasons, you got to go back and you got to watch the 14 hours of footage before that. And you're like, fuck. No,
it's true. And I kind of told Adam, because we were talking about Rebels, and the first season is a little bit cartoony, and they don't want to kill people in the same way that you would in an adult, like in Star Wars, that people getting like limbs chopped off and stuff, right? So it's a little bit more cartoony, and I kind of told him to watch the last episode of the first season, and then that'll spur, like maybe he'll want to go back, or maybe he'll have enough information really to go forward, because that's when it gets really interesting. So if you watch, a little bit here and there, you also have YouTube. There's hundreds, thousands, possibly videos that'll summarize everything for you. And so a lot of these, I didn't read every single Star Wars book. A lot of them I was like, okay, I don't have time for this one. I'm just going to watch a YouTube video about it and get the Cole's notes. That's all
exactly.
it is.
Well, I'm trying to watch the Clone Wars, but what I find is it feels very out of sequence. Feels like some episodes, they don't make sense. You're in the middle of something that you don't know the backstory of these characters, or it just.
And it's almost like the whole point of in Star Wars in general. If you look at like all the expanded, and maybe you're not interested in this, but the problem is just the universe is too big, and these wars go on forever, and they don't mean anything. There's these massive victories, or like, oh my God, we saved this planet. Well, yeah, while you're doing that, like 3 other planets we lost somewhere else, or like it's almost like too big of a battle that you don't care anymore. So like if you could imagine, like I think we all love Lord of the Rings as well, right? So Two Towers is like my favorite. I love like the battle in that, like the end scene. But if it at the same time that battle was happening, we heard, not only Gondor, like Rohan and Gondor are under attack, and somebody's pulling. Those wraiths are in the Shire, and like if everywhere was under attack at the same time, you wouldn't care as much about a small group of people. And that's kind of the problem they have with these galactic wars. There's too much happening, and there's like it's basically always a stalemate until there's some massive like killing off of the leadership, basically.
That's fair. That makes sense. All right, guys. So do you have anything else to add to this episode?
No, sir.
Rob?
No, I think I talked too much already, and I bored poor Jean-Marc to death about galactic military. But it is boring, I have to say. Like there's these wars. Like, so there's not going to be any resolution from this on a massive scale. That's why we have to be invested in the Mandalorian and the child, Grogu, and Ahsoka Tano, because they're not going to change the course of the universe. Unfortunately, we see what's going to happen after this, and that's always the downside with something like this. Like, no matter what happens, we know like what's going to happen in the Force Awakens happens after. So sad in some ways that this is the like, I'd almost rather see a Star Wars where we don't know what the future is after it.
Yeah, but it is interesting. Like, one thing that starts to excite me is this series can lead into the sequel trilogy. Like, we might see the construction of Snoke and maybe get some more light into that vague and that choppy backstory. They might go like, we're gonna fucking firm that up and make it smarter and better here, or, you know, all of those sort of. Maybe we might see some of the Emperor doing some, you know what I mean? Like, there's an opportunity to clarify that cloudy, jumbled mess that they had.
Yeah. I would rather honestly have a reboot. I would rather something magic. I would rather have something happen in the Mandalorian or Ahsoka Tano that resets the future and get rid of that stuff. And if you get into it, there is some hint of that. And again, watch Rebels. There's going to be some. It opens up a lot of ideas for what could happen and what could be done to change the course of what happens. And basically, I think a lot of people are just being hopeful that there's some way to logically reboot, like erase the sequel trilogy.
You want to retcon the sequel trilogy?
I want to retcon the sequel trilogy is what I want to do. And if they could retcon Peter Parker and Mary Jane's marriage, then they could retcon anything.
Yeah. It would be interesting. Do you think that they would ever perhaps do like an animated version of George Lucas's vision of what the sequels could be or something, or bring him on as a consultant or something?
I doubt it.
They won't even show you a non-special edition of the originals. They're so afraid of having competing visions for it. They don't want you to think, oh, that'll just lead on to like, oh, that, shoulda, coulda been. Yeah. Like, I'm surprised they're doing that for example, Justice League. Like, now they're going to do an episode, like they're going to redo that. And now every director is going to be able to say, well, I had the same problem with my terrible movie, the Joel Schumacher Batman movies. He's going to say, well, I had a different idea. My movies would have been awesome if I had more freedom to, had dancing penguins and this and that. It would have really came together. So now I think that's just going to give an out for crappy movies. And that's what Justice League was. That was a terrible movie. And so basically, if you could use George Lucas's strategy, like he says, nobody ever quits on him. Like a movie's never done. The director just gets bored and moves on.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're gonna end this right now. I gotta take a phone call, so let's end it now.
All right.
Sounds good.
Jean-Marc's gotta go.
Before we leave, David Prowse died today, which is very sad. The original, the original Darth Vader. So let's leave it on the one of our favorite characters, I think, of the Star Wars world. I think who's left a long-lasting impression. So we'll leave it at that, guys. So let's end it right there.
Yeah, very, very sad news. I did forget to mention that, but
he was born in 1935. I mean, he had a good run.
Wow, 1935. I didn't even know that.
I'd feel so bad for him. When I found out that he was doing the voice originally, like, he not only stood in the costume like Chewbacca, but he actually, like, you could watch cuts where it's his voice reading the line. So it must have been so upsetting for him when the movie came out. He's like, hey, everybody, come watch this movie. I'm like the main bad guy. Wait, and then he's like, here's James Earl Jones' voice.
Yeah. Completely unrecognizable because his body's completely covered in a suit, and then it's somebody else's voice.
And it's James Earl Jones, like the most epic voice in the whole world, taking over his spot. So maybe he can't feel that bad because, like, who could compete with James Earl Jones' voice?
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I'm going to end the show. Thanks for watching.